Now for the brief account of evolution. Evolution started 3 billion years ago. 3 billion years ago. At that time, there was nothing but aggregation of organic compounds. Okay? They gradually evolved and became membrane-bound single cells. So they evolved and became single cells. This occurred 2000 million years ago. 2000 million years ago. Single cells were formed. Okay? So you imagine how much time it took for the gradual evolution from just an aggregation of organic compounds which had the ability to multiply to form the single cells. And they also remained for a very long time. They all originated in water, in marine conditions. Slowly, these single cells, they evolved and became multicellular. It took lot of time for them to become multicellular. Then came invertebrates. Invertebrates arose 500 million years ago. 500 million years ago, invertebrates. They evolved around 500 million years ago. Okay? And slowly, around 350 million years ago, jawless fishes. In the last year in animal kingdom, when you were studying, you studied lampreys and hagfishes. Hagfishes, they are jawless fishes. Okay, aignatha, jawless fishes. So 350 million years ago, jawless fishes evolved. Slowly, around 320 million years ago, seaweeds and other plants arose. 320 million years ago, seaweeds and other plants arose. Some of the fishes, you know, that they had strong and stout fins. They could come to the land and they could go back to water. So this happened in around 350 million years ago. Some fishes with stout and strong fins, they evolved and they could, they could come to land and they could be there in land and then go back to water also. Actually, what we have to remember here is that the organisms that came to land for the first time were plants. Plants came to land much before animals. So the first to appear on land were plants. Plants first on land were plants. Later animals came. So which were the animals? These were the animals. Some of them some of the fishes which had stout and strong fins, they could come to land and go back. They are the precursors, they gave way, or they are the precursors to amphibians. Amphibians. Then came Amphibians. Amphibians. So these amphibians that they first developed, they are the ancestors of the amphibians that we see now, like frog, salamander and all. So these are ancestors of frogs and salamander. Slowly, amphibians gave way and reptiles evolved. Then came reptiles. The characteristic features of these reptiles is that they laid thick-shelled eggs. Thick-shelled eggs. In this aspect, they were superior to amphibians. How they are superior to amphibians? When the eggs have thick shell, they will not get desiccated or dry when it is laid outside. So that in that way they were superior to amphibians. And you know, reptiles reigned on the earth for 200 million years. Okay? They were on land for 200 million years. Some of the giant reptiles, they went back to water. They evolved on land, I told you. They came on land. Some of them went back to water. And the best example is Ichthyosaurus. Okay? Some giant reptiles went back to water. Example, Ichthyosaurus. Land reptiles, giant land reptiles were dinosaurs or dinosaur. Okay? And one of the tallest one was Tyrannosaurus rex. It's a one-mark question, named the tallest and the largest dinosaur. Tyrannosaurus rex. It was 20 feet tall and it had huge dagger-like teeth. Land reptiles were dinosaurs. Dinosaurs. And the giant dinosaur was Tyrannosaurus rex. Tyrannosaurus rex. I told you it was 20 feet tall and had huge dagger-like teeth. The plants that survived well during the time when reptiles reigned the earth, or the plants that were there on the earth, on the land, when reptiles reigned, were pteridophytes, especially ferns. Okay? The plants were pteridophytes, ferns. Slowly, they fell and they became part of coal. Okay? And suddenly, 65 million years ago, suddenly the dinosaurs became extinct. Two reasons are cited for it. So, 65 million years ago, dinosaurs became extinct. Two reasons are cited. First reason is that some climatic change took place which led to its extinction. Second reason that is cited is most of them became evolved and they became birds. One, climatic change. Two, they evolving to birds. slowly what happened? Reptiles gave way to mammals, or mammals evolved. Slowly mammals evolved. The first mammal were small like mouse, shrew-like. First mammal were shrew-like. Mammals were superior to reptiles in two important aspects. One aspect is that mammals were retaining their fetus within the womb of the mother, in the uterus of the mother. So it gave better chance of survival, better protection, one. Another thing is that they could sense danger and avoid danger. So these were two important aspects in which mammals were found to be superior to reptiles. Two aspects in which mammals were superior to reptiles. One, retained young ones in the womb or uterus of mother. So better protection, care and protection. First aspect, could sense danger and avoid. During this time, children, what was happening, continental drift was taking place. Some continents were separating or they were coming together. Continental drift was taking place. So when this was taking place, some animals had better advantage. Some of them were favored more. Some of them were completely overridden by the fauna or the flora of the other continent when they came together. So an example of this is this. So I told you continental drift was occurring so some organisms were favored and some perished. For this example, in South America, there were mammals like horse, hippopotamus, bear, rabbit, etc. When North America and South America came together because of continental drift, the North American fauna completely overpowered the South American fauna. One example. Still another example is when such continental drift took place in Australia, pouched mammals were favored. They did not have any competitors. So they flourished very well. Two examples. In South America, there were mammals like horse, hippopotamus, bear, rabbit, etc. So when North America and South America came together, South American fauna, means animal population, was overridden by North American fauna. Another example, In Australia, when such continental drift took place, pouch mammals survived better. Why? No competitors. So they survive better. So these were the examples. Some mammals were found to be seen only in water. And the best example is seal, sea cow, then dolphin, whale, etc. Some mammals were seen only in water. Examples: seal, sea cow, whale. So each mammal, if you take, for example, dog or horse or elephant or even man, each will have its own story of evolution. Each mammal will have its own story. Of all these, the most important and the most interesting story of evolution is evolution of man. Why it is very important? Because only in man we see the ability of phonation, that is speech, or self-consciousness. When you studied what are the characteristic features of living organisms, consciousness, ability to sense the environment and respond to it. In that, man is superior in the aspect that they have self-consciousness, ability to sense self. So the story of man is very, very interesting because of the ability of phonation and self-consciousness. Each mammal will have its own story of evolution, okay, own story of evolution. And the story of evolution of man, superior evolution of man, interesting. Two reasons, and the two reasons, one is he have phonation ability, speech ability. Second one, self-consciousness ability. So this is the brief account of evolution if you look at. Okay, only the main points I am going to tell. This is a 5-mark question. Okay, first 3 billion years ago, aggregate of organic compounds. 2000 million years ago, single cells. They gradually evolved to multicellular organisms. 500 million years ago, invertebrates. 350 million years ago, jawless fishes, Agnatha. Then 320 million years ago, seaweeds and marine or other plants. Plants came to land first than, much before than animals. Okay? Then came 350 million years ago, you will find there were fishes which had stout and strong fins which would come to land, go back to water. In 1938, such a fish was collected from South Africa, okay, which lived in the coelacanth era in 1938 from South Africa, such a fish with stout, strong fin. It was considered to be extinct but was identified. Okay, they were the precursor of amphibians. Okay, and amphibians gave way to reptiles. So the first amphibians were the precursor or ancestors of the amphibians that we see now, frogs, salamander, etc. They gave for reptiles. Reptiles are superior in the aspect that they laid thick-shelled eggs. Okay, and they were the precursor. First reptiles were the precursor of the reptiles that we see now: turtle, tortoise, crocodiles, etc. Some of them went back to water. Example, Ichthyosaurus. Land reptiles, giant reptiles were dinosaurs. Tallest Tyrannosaurus rex, it will come to a height of about 20 feet, had huge dagger-like teeth, very fearsome to look at. 65 million years ago, they became extinct. Two reasons: climatic change, they got evolved to birds. Slowly, reptiles gave way for mammals, the superior most animals on land, on the biosphere, mammals. First mammal were very small, shrew-like. Then they were superior to reptiles in two aspects. One, retained the young one in their womb of the mother, so better protection, better survival rate, better care. And the other one was that they could sense the danger, avoid the danger, intelligent. And then that time continental drift took place. As a result, some animals flourished very well, some became extinct or perished at the expense of others. Two examples, one in South America and North America. If you look at in South America, there were animals like horse, hippopotamus, bear, rabbit, etc. When due to continental drift, North America and South America came together, the South American fauna was completely overridden by North American fauna. Another example, in Australia, when similar such continental drift took place, the pouched mammals like kangaroo and all, pouched mammals, opossum, kangaroo and all, they did not have any competitors, so they flourished very well. Some mammals were found purely only in water, they did not come to land at all. And the examples are whale, dolphin, seal, sea cow, etc. So each and every mammal, if you take, they have their own story. Story of dog, story of horse, story of elephant, story of man. Out of all this, which is the most interesting story of evolution? Of man. Why? Because he was the only animal which had the ability of speech and self-consciousness. So let us look into evolution of man. Evolution of man, whatever understanding we have, is based on the fossils that we have got. But children, there was no continuity. Fossil formation was not very much supported during the time man evolved. Okay, too much of oxygen content was there. The conditions were not very well favoring the fossil formation. So with whatever fossils we have, the evolutionist synthesized an idea or gave us the idea of staggered, not continuous evolution of man. But let us just peep into it. Evolution of man. Another 1 mark question, children. 5 mark question, sorry, not 1 mark question, 5 mark question. Very important. Okay. Evolution of man. 15 million years ago, they got the fossil of Dryopithecus and Ramapithecus. They lived. Okay. 15 million years ago, there were primates. There were primates like Dryopithecus and Ramapithecus. They were hairy, okay? They were like gorilla or chimpanzee. And Dryopithecus was more ape-like and Ramapithecus was more man-like, where like gorilla and chimpanzee, hairy they were. This was more ape-like, more man-like. So this was the first fossil they have got to understand about the evolution of man. Slowly, some of the fossils that were got from Ethiopia and Tanzania was slightly different. It showed more hominid character. Hominoid is monkey-like. Hominid is the primate which was nearing to man, hominid. So, some of the fossils that was got in from, after this comes fossils recovered from Ethiopia and Tanzania. They showed hominid character. Its characteristic feature is that they walked erect, okay? They walked erect, but they were short, only for coming to a height of about 4 feet. But walked erect. So, this indicated that 3 to 4 million years ago, there were hominids in East Africa. Okay, 3 to 4 million years ago in East Africa, there were man-like fossils could be recovered. 2 million years ago in East African grassland, they found that hominids like Australopithecus were there. 2 million years ago, they lived Australopithecines or Pithecus, where in East African grassland. So, this is the next fossils of Australopithecus which lived 2 million years ago. So, 15 million years ago Dryopithecus, Ramapithecus, then 3 to 4 million years ago some fossil they got from East Africa. After that come 2 million years ago Australopithecines in East African grassland. They found that they used stone weapons to hunt. So, we will have in our mind that they may be eating meat. No, but still they did not eat meat, okay? Did not eat meat. Then they got certain fossils which showed more hominid character and more resembling the human beings. So, they were called as Homo habilis. So, after Australopithecus comes Homo habilis. So, this is a scientific name. Whenever you are writing scientific name, this is genus name, species name. Just reminding you all, the first letter of the genus name should be capital and the first letter of the species name should be small and they should be underlined separately whenever you are writing the scientific name. If you do not do that, you lose mark. So, after Australopithecines or Australopithecus, next in the history of man or evolution of man, we get Homo habilis. You can see that their brain size was 650 to 800 cc. Brain size was 650 to 800 cc. They also did not eat meat. So, some of the fossils they showed the hominid character and they were more nearing to man. and they were called as Homo habilis. They had a brain size of 650 to 800 cc, did not eat meat. So one thing that they observed, the evolutionists, when they were making a study on the fossils they have got, which will help you to understand the history of evolution of man, was that there was the jaws were become shorter. That of monkeys were longer, but it was becoming shorter. Brain size was gradually increasing. Size of the teeth was becoming smaller. So these were the characteristic feature or gradual change from monkeys to man. That is, I repeat, the jaw size were becoming shorter, the teeth were becoming smaller in size, and brain size were gradually increasing from hominoid to hominid. Okay. Then after Homo habilis, the next in the history, if you look at, comes Homo erectus. Homo erectus, they got it from Java or Peking in China. So they were also called as Java man or Peking man. This was 1.5 million years ago. Homo erectus. I told you they are also called as Java man or Peking man. Okay. They had a brain size, gradual, I told you it was increasing, of about 900 cc. They were the first one to probably eat meat. Probably ate meat. They probably ate meat. Next in the history comes, so this was, I told you, 1.5 million years ago. Their fossil of Homo erectus, it was got from Java, and it was in 1891. 1891. Okay. Then comes Neanderthal man. Neanderthal man. It is, or this fossil was called Neanderthal or Homo neanderthalensis. Okay. It is called Neanderthal because the fossil was got from the Neander Valley. That's why it is called as Neanderthal man. Okay. Their brain size was found to be 1400 cc, roughly like ours, almost 1400 cc. And they, they used hides, means skin of animals, they to wear it over the body. Okay. Used hides of animals to cover their body. Okay. They also buried their dead. They buried dead. And they gave offerings on after the dead people were there on the tomb of that, they gave offerings. So all these indicate that they followed some religious practices. Okay, Neanderthal man, and they lived 1 lakh to 40,000 years ago. They evolved. Then came Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens. So this is Homo neanderthalensis. So Homo sapiens, they evolved in Africa. And they moved to other continents and evolved to other different races. Okay. Then came Homo sapiens. These actually evolved in Central and East Asia. Homo sapiens, they evolved in Africa and they moved to other continents to other continents and evolved to different races. Modern Homo sapiens are there, no? Modern man or Homo sapiens, they evolved during the Ice Age. Okay? Modern man evolved during Ice Age. About 75,000 to 10,000 years ago. Then came this cave arts. Cave arts came 18,000 years ago. Cave arts. (18,000 years ago). And then agriculture. They evolved 10,000 years ago. And then human settlement, as we see now. Okay? So this was the evolutional history of man. The main points, we will see the main points, all the important points. So I'll tell you once again, evolution of man, very important 5-mark question I told you. 15 million years ago, Dryopithecus, Ramapithecus. Dryopithecus more ape-like, Ramapithecus more man-like. Walk like gorilla and chimpanzee, were hairy. Then some of the fossils showed hominid characters which were got from Ethiopia and Tanzania, indicating that man-like mammals evolved in East Africa. But they were short, you know, coming only up to 4 feet, but walked erect. Okay? This was around 3 to 4 million years ago. Then came, after that, 2 million years ago, Australopithecus, Australopithecines. Okay? Australopithecines in East African grassland. That was 2 million years ago. They used stone weapons to hunt, but still ate only vegetables, fruits, and did not eat meat. Then came Homo habilis. Some of the fossils they have got were different from Australopithecus, and they showed more towards man-like character, and they were considered actually like the ancestor of man. Homo habilis they were called as. Their brain size was 650 to 800 cc. They also did not eat meat. After that, 1.5 million years ago came the next fossil, that was Homo erectus. I told you they can also be called as Java man, because it was in Java or Peking in China that these fossils were got. So they were also called as, they can also be called as Java man or Peking man. Their brain size was 900 cc. They probably ate meat. Then came Neanderthal man. From Neander Valley that fossil was got. That is why Neanderthal man or Homo neanderthalensis. Their brain size was more than Homo erectus. It was about 1400 cc. They used hide, skin of animals to cover their body. They buried their dead, gave offerings there, all indicating that they were doing religious practices, following some religious practices. They were also using the stone weapons to hunt. Actually, after that, Cro-Magnon man also came, but we are not going into that. Then after that, we are studying about Homo sapiens. Okay? Homo sapiens evolved in Africa, and they moved to other continents and developed into different types of races. okay, whites, the blacks, all these things, races. And then came the modern man, modern Homo sapiens. So these the modern man evolved during the Ice Age, 75,000 to about 10,000 years ago. Then came cave arts, 18,000 years ago, and then came agriculture 10,000 years ago. After that, we see human settlement. So we come to the end of the chapter, children. I'll just sum up what you have studied. The name of the chapter was evolution, so to understand that, the main aspects, only the main points I'm telling you. You can make a fate map of it also, flow chart of it you can make, so that you will remember. Flow chart means only the main points. When you see that, you understand these are the points in this. Origin and evolution of universe, origin and evolution of earth, then little in detail about origin of life, evolution of life, the theory supporting both these. After that, we studied about evidences of evolution, many evidences, paleontological evidences, comparative anatomy and morphological evidences, biochemical evidences, evidence from controlled breeding experiments, evidence from natural selection. After understanding about evidences supporting evolution, we looked into how biological evolution took place, Lamarck's idea, Darwin's idea. Then we went on to seeing the mechanism of evolution, the idea of Hugo de Vries, Darwin, what is the difference of it. Then the most accepted understanding about mechanism of evolution given by Godfrey Hardy and William Weinberg, which is known as Hardy-Weinberg law of equilibrium, genetic equilibrium to be specific. And we understood what are the factors that influence this: gene flow, genetic drift, mutation, genetic recombination, natural selection. After understanding all these, we just peeped into a brief account of how evolution have taken place, starting from 3 billion years ago till the evolution of man, the highest form of creation or highest, most evolved organism on the biosphere. And last, we just understood about how evolution of man took place. So that was this chapter, children. Thank you very much.